I'm Pastor Kate.
My name is Caitlin.
My name is Colin Helak.
I'm Plum Beatty.
My name is Macy Tabula.
My name is Lex Larkspur.
And we are United Campus Christian Fellowship. United Campus Christian Fellowship is a very unique ministry because we are multi-campus and multi-denominational. We serve the campuses of Grand Valley State University, Grand Rapids Community College, and Kendall College of Art and Design. Our mission for UCCF is to engage students, faculty, and staff in an inclusive and affirming community, to inspire all with the love and unity of Christ, and to equip each to faithfully pursue justice and mercy. Within that mission statement, our vision is to simply feed. Just as Jesus did with feeding the over 5,000, just as Jesus did in all of his parables and his teachings and preachings, and what he did with his physical body, it is to feed all of us. And so what we try to do with UCCF is to lean into this calling that Jesus has laid out for the church, and that is to feed. If you didn't know, 1 in 3 college students will experience food insecurity at a 4-year institution. So we truly try to feed in body, mind, and spirit. We feed in spirit through worship and Bible study. We feed in mind by doing mindfulness and meditations, as well as just being part of an inclusive community where people can be fully themselves. And we feed physically through final snack bags and our weekly open table meal and worship.
When I first started coming here, I felt like I was just like welcomed with open arms, and there was talks about like religion and stuff, but I didn't feel pressured, and it was such like an open-minded talk that I've never experienced before because I was just surrounded by a lot of closed-minded people. So I felt like I was able to say my opinions and just like things like that.
To me, UCCF was the most welcoming, just from even looking at like the description of the club on LinkedIn and kind of seeing what the Instagram and social media were. It was a very no holds barred kind of like, you can come and we have no expectations for you. We would just love to have you here. And then because we do have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with Pastor Kate, or as we discuss things in a big group, processing different things, talking about our personal experiences is just a great way of just kind of reviewing everything and feeling really secure about your own beliefs and being able to see others who share that with you.
It's just a kind place. It's just a place where all people are welcome regardless, and coming here is just kind of a place where I can just meet people, eat lunch, and just exist in a space that's all inclusive and all affirming.
Our weekly open table meal and worship really is so, for lack of a better phrase, just the coolest thing that I've been a part of. I have noticed that my students are clamoring for a community where they can question and doubt and fully show up as themselves in all of their identities, whether that is a Christian identity from their upbringing, whether that's trying to figure out what they believe right now, or holding on to their religious identity as well as their queer identity or being a person of color. All of these things come together in this open table meal and worship.
So my faith is kind of the foundation for a lot of my values. It gives me a lot of purpose and stability. So, for example, like I'm becoming a teacher because it's one of my core values, and it's my belief that that's how I can help other people.
I've had my faith my whole life. I was raised in a church. I got saved at a church camp, but for the longest time it wasn't really something that I had chosen to do. It was something that had been chosen for me. In my later years, I have chosen my own faith, and it looks different than it did before, but I feel a lot closer to God as a result of that change.
When we are doing lunch downtown at St. Mark's Episcopal Church, we have our church partners come and provide a meal, whether it's sponsoring that meal through a financial donation, or it's making the meal, or it's ordering us pizza and sending it to the church. Our church partners have been in a huge help with creating that space.
So last year in the springtime, UCCF was looking for churches to bring a lunch for some Kindle College students as they were preparing for their finals week. And myself, along with some other St. Mark's people, put together a soup lunch and brought it over to Kindle. And it was there that I met Pastor Kate. And I just really enjoyed meeting her and meeting these students and kind of, getting to know them a little bit. When Kate and I met over the summer, she mentioned that there had been some changes both at GRCC and Kindle, and they were kind of looking for a new way to do this lunch ministry with students. And I just said, well, we've got this great location here. St. Mark's is wonderfully kind of at the intersection of both Kindle College and GRCC. So if you'd like to use our space, you're welcome to it. And that was really the beginning. And so we started off the first week, we started offering lunch on Wednesdays. We had, I think, 4 students show up. And we were extremely excited about that. And then next week, I think there were 10. And then the next week, suddenly there were 30. And so we've kind of been consistently hovering now somewhere between 30 and sometimes 50 students that come on Wednesdays. They gather here, we have lunch for them. It's just an opportunity for them to socialize, gather in a non-threatening, safe place with adults who are checking in on them, and we're just showing God's love to them.
I think it's important because, the bunch of students move out of state or out of the city, and there's no, a comfort. And I feel like, I moved from Holland, it's not that far, but it was still a change. And I think coming here helps stable me more because I can confide in the people here, the pastors, and I've never been able to really do that before.
In my personal experience, college ministries are a lot of focused on retaining attendance, and if you're not going to church, you're going to your ministry group or whatever that is. And it's a way of keeping you involved in the church and kind of just pushing you until you reach the adult groups. And I feel like UCCF is a unique space in that it's not focused on that. It's focused on welcoming you where you are and meeting you where you are. And in this very unique stage of life that is college, instead of trying to keep you just so we can push you into an adult group later on in your life.
I think it's important because, when college takes up so much of your time, it can become really difficult to find spaces to go back to communities of faith and feel supported in that way. So UCCF kind of helps fill that hole in a lot of people's lives.
College students, like all people now, are struggling to find community, to find people out there in the world who care about them, and they're looking for connectedness, which is becoming harder and harder for them to do. So this is a place for them to come where there are no expectations. So really importantly, we're gathering in a church space, which for some of these students is new. We have had students say to us they've never been in a church before, or they haven't been in a church in somewhere between 5 and 10 years because of some religious trauma that happened to them in their childhood. They come into this space and there's no expectation of them. There's no judgment, there's no shame, there's no guilt. It's simply free food and a place to settle, a place to be warm when it's cold outside, a place to cool off when it's hot outside.
As you heard from our students, this ministry is so vital in their lives and in the life of the church, but we wouldn't exist without your support, so thank you. If you'd like to connect with UCCF, please contact Pastor Kate at pastorkatevv@uccfmi.org or use the QR code below.